Hola, buenos dias, hello, good morning. This is Andrew Weston, representing all solar systems, planets, intelligence. I'd like to thank all the subscribers and viewers on the Higher Self channel for the love and support. You guys are amazing. I'm back in Mexico right now, so the weather is going through its subsurface, through its galactic moon. The galactic moon is changing its wind factors. Wind factors are going through its collection, and it's synchronizing through different patterns through its radio signals. So it has its full connection right now with the galactic solar sun planet. But it's been raining the last couple of days, so it's just changing its weather patterns right now through its circulation and its rotation. So yeah, so I'm back right now. I'm gonna be going back to Mexico City for quite a while now. I'm gonna be going back every weekend, like I said before. So everything through space continuum right now is already alignments back in its atmosphere. It's not as bad now. No heavy breathing. Oxygen is a little bit coarse. It's a lot different than the Mexico City atmosphere, because I'm walking into Angel City and then back in Puebla, where it has its own condensed energies through its mountains, the Popo and Ista. They have a lot of history too with Puebla. Puebla is more of an industrial place to be. So it has its connection wires and its patterns and all that through its voicing grids, but it's comfortable, But Mexico City is high realm, extremely fast paced, with so many people. It's unreal. So it also has its connection wires too. But you can have full collaboration through relationship partnership too with any atmosphere that you go to, as long as you know its continuous force, you know its energy flow, you know its vibration and its frequencies through its harmonics. Because every atmosphere has a different frequency level, and once you reach that frequency level, you can communicate with any intelligence through its planets and solar systems. Getting connected with the mecha systems and your psychosomatic systems. Now, the psychosomatic is understanding how to use your energy fields through its atmosphere. And the atmosphere is a tremendous force. So those energy cycles through the schematics, the blueprints, everything is, has its connection. So I'm just getting ready to, go back and forth with each atmosphere, and it's getting a lot better because I'm forming the alignments through the shape-shifting winds of the shapes. So those shapes are coming more into form through its location grids. And I use those location grids for radio signals. The radio signals go through transformation lights, the third eye. So it's full connection right now. And we're coming across a huge, big shift. This is July now. Remember I was telling you about that? This is where your body capacitor gets used to its atmosphere through its continuous force, where you learn how to use your circulation and rotation and how you see things through circulation. And its credible speed through the velocity of anything, objects. And remember that you're part of the antimantium particles of its multi-universe combined. So it also has its connection. So everything is subsurfacing right now through the multi-universes. And those multi-universes are, it's continuous force through space. And space has its own elements, where it comes the infinity line. So space infinity. So that's what we're trying to collaborate on through relationship and partnership. And once we get that, then our whole body capacitors and ecosystems will be connected through the higher self, through the solar self. All the synchronizing souls and three-dimensionals and life formers are this solar mecha side right now. There are a few that are on harmonics, but not too many. It's very hard to catch because you have to know your body inside and out when it comes to the systems. And everything in space is through systematical, which is you. But what's going to happen now is that you're going to feel like you're floating. You know how it has its gravitation? Well, that Earth is going to be taken away, and you're going to feel like you're just, whoa, it's like, what's going on here? You feel like you're in a bubble. So that's what's going to happen right now. So its air and its wind factor is basically disillusion, and that disillusion is going to take away its oxygen. So you got to know what it's like to have the breathing mechanisms through space continuum, what it's like to actually, be out of control, to be in control. And that's what space is to understand your speed velocity, understand your frequencies. And once you get that balance, then the body and the ecosystems can be connected all in one with the voicing capacitor, the eye perception, and the audio. Those are the three main ones that you need on an everyday basis. But it's extremely important to know the body and the ecosystems and your higher self. You get connected with your higher self through your meditations. Things will come a lot more clear. And knowing that you can go from one plantation to the next through its string theory. So I like to talk about space. I know I went before in my last video, we were talking about space, but this is more of its continuous force, how it set its alignments through its energy force, and it has its own continuous flow. So everything rotates on a whim. So it's always clockwise, okay? So everything goes clockwise. So everything that you see through space has its energy cycles, and those energy cycles are line connected with all plantations and all solar systems. And they have their own energized mechasystems that are polarized through the radioactive connection systems. And those connection systems are connected through the radio signals, and those radio signals are connected through the chakra formations and the crown chakra. This is this solar point right here. This is the connection to everything. And once you go past that, then you get full understanding of its space and what's in space, because it's pretty powerful stuff. Like I said, I can close my eyes and see space, because not only I understand its continuous force through circulation and rotation, but I understand how it feels. Now, you don't think, well, space has feelings. And I said, yes, it does. Everything is communication in space, but you got to respect everything that's in space, because it has its limits, it has its boundaries, it has its prohibitive, it's got its entries. And understanding everything in through the matrix, because the matrix goes a lot further through its parallels and its paradoxes. Now, paradoxes are pretty amazing. Those are type shifting winds through its times continuum, through its matter. And what that is, it's a speed force, but you're going incredibly slow. You know how an airplane goes like 800 knots? And then you look outside, you're in the window, right? And you see like it's not moving, right? Well, that's what your perception sees. But when you have dimensional eyes and you're in space, you see how fast you're going. Because the oxygen and the atmosphere and the energy flow is on a continuous flow. So you're communicating with its feelings and understanding that the body is regulating its system through space. So it has that force and going astronomical fast through its dimensions, its paradoxes, and its galaxies. So you get a better idea of what's going on in space and how you use those body capacitors. But it's extremely important too to use your force fields. You have to have your force fields with any interaction, any interception, any interfacing. And once you understand their vibration and then you can communicate on their level. Because there's a lot of intelligence that have low, medium, and high harmonics. And that's a whole nother stage. I'll talk to you about that another day, but I just thought I'd bring that to your attention, that once you reach harmonics, there's low, middle, and high. So it's just the beginning, and that's what I mean by continuous force. It just keeps going around and round and round and round. It never stops. It's always circulating in space. Everything is rotating very fast. So, um, so like I said, you're gonna feel like you're just levitating, but you're like in a bubble. But the oxygen is gonna be very condensed, and you're gonna feel its oxygen, not just with the voicing capacity. You're gonna feel it with its body. You're gonna feel like you're floating. It's like whoa, like levitation. You know, astral projecting. Um, so that's what you're going to be feeling right now in space, and it's continuing. So I'm going to tap out for now. Any questions or comments are great. You guys are amazing. And I'll talk to you later. This is Andrew Weston, resonating all solar planets and intelligence. Octave Galactic 7, calling out. Adios.